All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again on another live stream. As I promised, I was just so tired after the match. I know I promised that I was going to do a members call in straight after the match, but I was so absolutely out of it. Maybe it's the first half that just knocked me out, how boring it was. The second half, I thought was quite nice. Obviously, we ended up getting 3 points, but this is all what we're going to talk about. But we've got the members call-in show right now. So if you are a member, make sure you knock me and let me know where to send you the link. And I'm happy to send you the link. And if you aren't a member and want to become a member to participate on this show, become a member immediately. And if you just want to watch, just go ahead and watch, man. Valan, my man, good morning. First of all, you just woke up. How you feeling, bro?
Good, miss. Good 2-0 win.
How was the Brentford game?
Brentford didn't play yesterday night.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to watch that. Oh, but I did watch the Newcastle game, miss. And there's something interesting there.
Fulham, right? Newcastle versus Fulham?
Yeah, and Newcastle had 2 more injuries, miss.
Wow. Who were they? Which players?
Fabian Schaff and Joelinton.
Oh, that's big, man. Joelinton's a huge one for them.
Yeah, Fabian Schaff not so much because Sven Botman is already back in the squad. He was on the bench.
Yeah. And they've got cover in defense. They've got plenty of defenders, I think. But Joelinton's a big one in defense, man. We'll definitely talk about Newcastle. That's a big one for me. Like, obviously, we don't want to get too giddy with this victory against Sheffield United. But at the same time, I think we should be able to praise in isolation. I see a lot of people who are a little bit annoyed. I don't know if they're annoyed that we won or annoyed the way fans are reacting. I haven't seen anything excessive reaction from anyone, but we'll talk about all of that. The Snowman is saying, Miz, what time is it in Australia? It's 10:42 a.m. I went to bed at 4:42 a.m. Went to bed and was woken up by my little daughter. Obviously, you know, she's like 9 months old, so she makes a lot of noise. And I was woken up around 8:45-ish. So yeah, I haven't had enough sleep, but still, nonetheless, it was enough to get going for today. It is Sunday morning here. So big up to each and every one of you guys. Valan, now let's talk about this particular match. Key things. Let's talk about some key things. Number one that I want to talk to you about is, let's talk about Petrovic. I know he didn't have too much to do, but did you get a sense of feeling he seemed very calm? He seemed very much in control. There was one shot in the second half that was hit at him and he dived and he made a nice save. But at all times, he was very calm on the ball. Whenever he got the ball, he was quite commanding in the box. Whenever there was corners, it was a good sign. I mean, clean sheet will go a long way. What do you think about George Petrovic's performance?
I mean, the data right now is still minimal, miss. But so far, he doesn't give off the vibe that he'll do something crazy or stupid as of right now, compared to Sanchez. Sanchez, you know that in every game there'll be something crazy from him.
100. Now you're right, man. So far, I mean, as you said, the data sample is small. It's just a one game, but you can sense the vibe, right? You can sense the vibe with Robert Sanchez. You just know there's some erratic moments coming up any time. Are you somewhat confident moving forward with Petrovic for the time being, knowing that I think Sanchez is out for the next few matches? I think he might be out till the end of December. So gives Petrovic an opportunity to really perhaps cement a position?
I mean, he will have the opportunity, miss, but let's not forget, he just played the worst team in the league. And Sheffield United, they didn't come to play football. They just came to try to get a point.
Yeah. And maybe this is why we just need to see what happens in the next one against Newcastle, which will be at Stamford Bridge, where he will be tested a lot more. So now, completely understood. Yosef is saying he looks calm on the ball, but we need to see more games. Means 100% agreed. 100% agreed. Seemed alert. This is what Capo is saying. Cello is saying, what did you think of Caicedo? We're going to talk about. That's exactly what we're going to talk about now. midfield. Big conversation, Valan, in midfield. Enzo Fernandez seems like he has been dropped. I don't buy all of this being rested and all of that. I know there's a lot of games coming up. Potentially he's rested, but Pochettino actually came out in the press conference stating that he chose the team based on form. He chose the team based on what's best against Sheffield United. I have been saying in recent times, Valan, that I think Pochettino is struggling with how to utilize Enzo Fernandez. I don't think he completely understands how to get the best out of him. And at the same time, I don't think he really fancies Enzo Fernandez. I think he likes the robust nature of Gallagher, the robust nature of Caicedo, pace and power, press high, cover a lot of the ground. He values those components a lot more than someone who's technically very good on the ball in terms of passing ability. I personally thought, Valan, that combination between Gallagher and Caicedo was quite good. It allowed us to be up front. It allowed us to be more proactive when it came to counter-pressing. Gallagher and Caicedo got a lot of interceptions. They won the ball back a lot of the time. They drove forward a lot of the time. One, I want to ask you, what do you think about that combination? I know it's Sheffield United. That's number one I want to ask you. Number two, what does it mean for Enzo Fernandez moving forward?
Okay, Miss, I want to ask you, what does Caicedo and Gallagher lack if they two play together?
At times, maybe discipline.
What physical attributes are they lacking right now?
Not much, I'd say. I think physically they're pretty sound.
The ball progression?
Ball progression, yes, that's probably one thing.
I mean, if we are playing against a Man City, a Liverpool, a team that is combative, yeah, sure, why not? But against lower block teams, I think Enzo should be included into the team. But I mean, we have seen it even in PSG, a player similar to Enzo, but not that much in Marco Verratti.
Yeah.
Poch didn't use him that much. Poch used Danilo Pereira a lot as that sitter. Yeah, he doesn't really fancy ironically, the Argentinian doesn't fancy his own Argentinian.
Just a different philosophy, isn't it? Like, you can see Poch. You're right. Against the sitting team, Enzo's passing ability would be sensational. However, it just not having that extra midfielder, Valan, it allows him to have another attacker, allows him to play the 4-2-3-1, which I felt, especially in the second half, not so much in the first half. In the second half, when he made the tactical change between Sterling being more free roll in the middle, just behind Jackson, and Cole Palmer out wide on the right side. Do you feel Poch would like to have the two midfielders of Caicedo and Gallagher, as they can cover a lot of the ground? It allows him to play one more attacker up front.
Oh, you know for a fact he loves Gallagher and Caicedo just because of their energy, miss.
Yep.
But I don't generally think that together they are defensively sound. I mean, you could see how much Caicedo was struggling because whenever Gallagher got the ball, he'll pass it to Caicedo.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, you figure out how to get out of this press.
Yeah.
The amount of times we've seen Caicedo try to hoof the ball out, try to make the pass. With Enzo around, I think it would have been like, all right, they would take equal time.
Do you think someone like Romeo Lavia and Caicedo could potentially work out? Romeo Lavia a lot more sounder on the ball as opposed to Gallagher.
Yes. I mean, look, we have seen all the Man City players right now, through like James McAtee, Tommy Doyle, Cole Palmer. I mean, even Romeo Lavia. They are going to come in and they are definitely going to have an impact.
It'll be interesting. Are you somewhat, I wouldn't say worried, but cautious about where Enzo's future lies at Chelsea Football Club, especially under Mauricio Pochettino? Because at the end of the day, look, I rate Enzo Fernandez a lot. I rate him a lot. I think he's a supremely intelligent player. I just feel Pochettino is not utilizing him correctly. Enzo Fernandez is not someone who can play up front. Like, he's not a number 10. He can transition from 6 to 8 to 10. What I mean by that is he likes to start deep, and as the play progresses, he can go into an 8 to a 10. But he's not someone who can just be a 10 up front, receive the ball with his back against the defenders, turn, take players on. He's just not that type of player. I feel like he's more of a regista who likes to have the 2 8s next to him covering for his defense, allowing him to be free from deep and then progress forward. I just don't think Pochettino sees him in that type of a mold, like that mold of a player. Like, is that the vibe that you get?
Yeah, but you can also argue with Klopp and McAllister, right, miss? And Klopp has the patience to try and mold McAllister into the midfielder that he wants. It doesn't seem like Pochettino's trying at all.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in one hand, you can say that Klopp's got a little bit of liberty to try things with how the entire team is performing. They're getting wins, the top of the table. Whereas Pochettino, does he have all the freedom to keep trying things, or should he just stick to what he knows best, what works for him best? Because we need to pick up the 3 points.
You knew that yesterday's match was a must-win because Nkunku was on the bench, and when we were winning, Poch didn't even bother bringing him on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward with Enzo Fernandez. It will be absolutely interesting. Aka Miz, I'd love to talk about this, but I'm out right now. I don't think Enzo is a regista at all, but he's also not a 10. It's a hard one. Let me know if you're free, Aka, down the track. I don't know whether you'll be back within half an hour, whatever. Let me know, and I'm happy to send you the link. Let's take some of these comments. Emma is saying, what time is it in Oz at the moment? It's 10:52 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. Enzo needs a pivotal player in our team. Gallagher can only take us so far. Yeah, look, this is why it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when Romeo Lavia comes in. Valan, do you think this January window that's coming up, are we actually going to be looking at another midfielder, or is this just some sort of a BS bit of news that's been floating around?
I feel we are more likely to get a centre back and a striker. Means I think the midfielder they'll rework, they'll look back and check because Chukwuemeka should be coming back as well, miss.
We do forget about Chukwuemeka.
And let's not forget Andre Santos as well. He's coming back.
Cesare Cassidy as well. There's another one. Himanshu in the house, miss. How did we play? I did not watch the match. Brother, if you want to join in, let me know. Happy for you to join into the live stream. I'll send you the link. It's up to you if you want to join in. And we can talk about the match 100%. Let me just send you the link, Himanshu. There you go, Himanshu. Himanshu, you're someone who makes me laugh, bro. So up to you if you want to join in, bro. I think it'll be nice. Kissy Mikamara is saying, wow, guys, one game that Enzo is rotated and we are blowing out of proportion. No, we're not. Okay, so this is what we need to talk about. And Valen, help me make people understand. Nothing is getting blown out of proportion. Nothing. All I'm saying is, from the matches we have seen so far, it seems like, from my perspective, Poch doesn't know how to utilize Enzo Fernandez. I think we can agree on that. From the matches we have seen so far, under Pochettino. Because Enzo has been very, very inconsistent. He's been played up front. He's been played as a LCM. Barely any time he's been played deep. In my opinion, I feel like that's where he needs to be. But I understand other people might think differently. Last season, Enzo Fernandez under Graham Potter looked a lot better. That's because Graham Potter plays in a different style as opposed to Pochettino. So this is not blowing anything out of proportion. This is simply observing things and talking about it. I mean, Valen, are we blowing things up over here in regards to Enzo Fernandez?
No. We ain't. I mean, Enzo, we always knew what type of manager Poch was coming in. He was going to be the type that was aggressive, combative in his midfield. Enzo has yet to fully understand Pochettino's style play, perhaps. But, I mean, look, we have seen the amount of fan base going around slandering Enzo, saying that, oh, it's a waste of money. Look, Rory Jennings was one, for example. You can see. But I don't think we are throwing this into proportion. We are taking note of it because look, Pochettino has done many controversial things so far in his 6-month tenure at the club.
No, you're right. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think anyone's blowing anything out of proportion. It's just an observation. As Valan said, we are noting few things down because,
Like for
certainly,
example, Noni Madueke, Ian Madsen.
Yes. Madueke is injured as well, though. That's the other issue. Like, he's always injured.
The club announced that he came back immediately after posting he was injured.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah.
But he just wasn't in the squad.
Yeah, the injury list, they released that first. And then I think a few hours later, they released Noni Madueke because he's back in the club or something.
Wow. Interesting. I think that guy's gone, man. We'll talk about Noni Madueke very soon. Abdurazak, thank you so much for becoming a member, my man. Let me know where you want me to send you the link. Tag me on Twitter or DM me on Instagram. Like Valan, for example, he prefers the Instagram. So if you prefer Instagram, you can DM me on Instagram and I can send you the link. Whatever you want to do, let me know. And we'll sort that out. And as soon as you do that, just comment below and would love to have you on the show. Big up to you, Abdul Razak, for becoming a member. Okay, let's see what Yared is saying. To be honest, Enzo has to play in a team that doesn't turn the ball over within 4. Yes. Forcing him to scramble, example, Mudryk or Gallagher. So true. This is why I'm saying.
If Enzo was in Pep's team, if Enzo was in Sarri's team, if Enzo was in Barcelona, he would be balling out and we will be like, oh my God, he's such a good player. But just because he came to Chelsea, oh, he's a flop, oh, he can't do this. I'm like, look, just give him at least a year to acclimatize before we even start slandering him.
Yeah, bang on. And this is why I said I fully rate Enzo. You don't understand how much I rate Enzo Fernandez. I rate him so highly. But this comment and what Valan just said, if Enzo, for example, was in Napoli under Sarri, I'm telling you, Napoli will become a monster. Because Sarri values that type of player. Sarri is all about control. He doesn't want to have the opposition see any part of the ball. Sarri is all about that. As Valan also said, Barcelona.
In fact, miss, if Enzo goes to somewhere like Thomas Tuchel, I think he'll be having the same results as a Pochettino.
Yeah. Because Thomas Tuchel also is not just about just keeping possession for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, Thomas Tuchel likes to really explore going wide. He likes to play counter-attacking football at times. You can see how Bayern Munich plays. Like, they enjoy the possession, but it's not just hold the possession for the sake of holding the possession. You know what I mean? Like, it's similar to Poch, I'd say.
Would you think Enrique gets the best out of Enzo?
I think so. Enrique, back in the Barcelona days, had...
Yeah, but right now, at PSG, because he likes to play high press, and would there be enough space for Enzo?
Maybe not now. So... But as you said, I think Barcelona is something Enzo Fernandez would cherish. I reckon Barcelona would be amazing. Shervin, my man, how you doing, brother?
Good to be here with you guys. We finally got a W. I cannot believe my eyes. Potterino finally delivered something at least. So time to at least be happy for a couple of days.
100. I want you to chime in on some of these conversations that we've been having in regards to Gallagher, Caicedo, midfield combination. One, I want to ask you, what do you think about that combination? And two, he didn't really rest Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez was dropped. And this is a conversation we were having the other day in members call in. Does he really know how to utilize Enzo Fernandez? So what's your take on all of this sort of drama that's taking place in midfield?
So I agree with you. I don't think this was a resting. I mean, it's not like we're playing that many games anyways to need to rest players. And if he didn't have a knock, then it just doesn't make any sense. It probably was just a tactical decision. And for this game, it worked well. I liked the two together. They were doing well. But here's the thing. Sheffield United probably has the worst midfield out of any Premier League team. So even though it worked today, doesn't necessarily mean that this is the solution going forward.
Sheffield's midfield was even worse than League One side.
Yeah, they were horrible. And here's the thing: since it worked today, I'd be okay with trying it again against maybe a different team and see how it works. But I wouldn't go as far as saying, "Oh, this midfield is so much better," or "Oh, maybe we should bench Enzo more," or whatever. We can give it another try, see how it works against the better team with a better midfield. But for today, it was good.
So I guess what you're saying is you're reserving your thought for one week. Like perhaps Newcastle could be a good test to
For
see
sure.
if that combination works. I get the feeling Poch might just use that again. I just get the feeling he
Probably.
might use Caicedo and Gallagher again, and let's see how that works out. Um, yeah, the one benefit is having one less midfielder allows for another attacking player. Like, and this is what I want to talk about now. We'll go to Valan first, and then we'll circle back to you, Shervin. But before that, Lucky is saying, "Miz, I missed you so much. I missed you too, brother." That's nice. Where have you been, man? I haven't seen you in the comments for a little while. Big up to each and every one of you guys that has joined in. I know it's quite late UK time, but it's quite a nice time, I think, for people like Shervin in Canada or America at the moment. I think it's a decent time. What time is it, by the way, Shervin, at the moment?
It's 4 p.m. here.
Oh, it's beautiful. Saturday,
Amazing.
4 p.m.? Saturday,
Yeah.
4 p.m.? Oh, that's
Exactly.
lovely. That's lovely. And Valan as well. It's early morning in Singapore, so it's good. So for some people, it's working out. For some, I know it's quite late, but big up to each and every one of you guys that has joined in. Okay. Valan, that extra player in attack in this instance was Cole Palmer or Raheem Sterling, whatever you want to call it, allows to have Mudryk. And don't worry, we will talk about Mudryk. And once again, people are blowing things up on social media like he had an amazing game. I don't know what people are watching. Am I watching something different? Actually, you know what? Let's start with Mudryk and then we'll talk about that extra player. Because, yeah, this I need to clear up. Valan, are we watching the same game, bro? Like, people on social media telling me Mudryk had a really good game.
I guess it's because of his physical attributes, miss. It's like, oh, they see him very fast. They see him, he has enough time to make a nice cross in. I mean, Mudryk is still young, and I'm not going to slander him much because it's barely been a year for him. Yeah, and he's going through a lot. But the one impression Mudryk gives me right now is he doesn't have a footballing brain yet. And that can be coached.
What about that shot, bro? What about that shot, Valan?
That's just impatience.
How he nutmegged someone and then that wild shot.
Comedy show.
He was just impatient. You could see that.
It's mad. It's mad. I'm just replying to Abdurazak. But yeah, Shervin, I think Valan is spot on. The quality is there. I think we've all said the quality is there. But the footballing brain, how does one improve?
you can just look at Vinicius Junior, right? For the first year and a half, he struggled. Even Benzema came out with the quote, "I swear on my life, he's playing against us." Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but look, Vinicius had Benzema around him. Who does Mudryk have?
Yes.
Nicolas Jackson.
That's a good point. Maybe, and not just Nicolas Jackson, Valan. Who does Mudryk have in a totalitarian in the team? Like, there's a lot of inexperience. Who's he meant to learn from? And if we say Sterling lacks a little bit of IQ as well every now and then. So let's be honest. So, Shervin, let's go to you, my man. Is footballing IQ something that can be developed over time? Or, like, can you train footballing IQ?
I think you can to some extent, but not fully. So part of it is innate. Part of it is something you just gotta have within you. That's what we call talent. And then, of course, you can develop on top of that, but to a certain extent, right? There's always going to be a carrying capacity as far as how much you can improve upon your footballing IQ or IQ in any other realm. But that said, I don't know if this is just an IQ problem. I think there's a couple of things happening here. One might be a confidence problem. It might be that when he takes on a player, he kind of gets like in a situation where he's like, "Oh my god, I gotta shoot. What I gotta do?" Right? He gets very jittery. That's the way he looks to me.
Calm himself down.
Yeah, he definitely does need to calm down.
Breathe.
And that's something, 100%. That's something the coach has to help him. And again, I know I've been attacking Pochettino a lot recently, but there's a lot of things that the coach has to, at the end of the day, be responsible for. And if we have this plan of developing players, and I don't love this plan either, but we are in this situation, right? We've bought a bunch of young players and we're developing them, and that's how it is for now. Then we got to develop them. We got to at least make the best of this situation for now until we can later address this. And I really hope Pochettino can address this. Instead of giving books to Mudryk, maybe he needs to tell him, all right, calm down a little bit. Let's try this together. You're very good in practice. Let's try to develop and implement the same thing. Whatever tactics he needs to use those to help Mudryk out a little bit. And as far as the way people are reacting, I just wanted to touch on that as well.
Yes.
I think what's happening is that if you give a thirsty man a drop of water, they're going to say, water. They're not going to say, oh, a drop, right? You know what I mean? So I think that's really what's happening here.
What an analogy. I think that pretty much sums it nicely in regards to Mudryk. Erratic, I think that's what you're trying to say. A drop of water. Oh my god, I must have this. Instead, a drop. Really? Like it's two different approaches, right?
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the particular moment where he nutmegged a player. Sensation. We all went, whoa. And literally a second later, he went for this snapshot from an audacious angle, from an audacious distance. And the ball just skewered all the way to the corner post. And it makes you think, that's where it's like, calm down. Drop of water, calm down. Like, just take it easy. Are you in a composed position to take a shot from that angle? Is your body in a right situation to snap that? Are you personally in a confident level to go for something like that? So, look, Valen, would you like to just see for the time being Mudryk just continue? I suppose just keep getting the game. Is it just a matter of he needs to play consistently, not one game on, one game off, one game on, 2 games off? And don't forget, he does tend to pick up these little injuries as well here and there, which kind of ruins his progression. So do you want to see him continue? And Nkunku is coming back, which might be a bit of a spanner in the mix for him.
Well, of course, I would like to see him play, but like I've been seeing reports coming out that Poch is probably going to play Nkunku on the left. Yeah, I mean, just play Mudryk and get as much game time as possible to develop. And then maybe next season, then we can fully critique him. And I mean, look, he has Nkunku that you can look up to right now in Sterling. So he has the experienced guys that he can look up and see and try to be inspired on.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. This is a really, really good comment as well. Bry guy saying some of his cutbacks are impossible to do anything with. You're right, man. Charles Blues, I believe this is Abdurazak. Yay, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Good to see you, man. Firstly, thank you for becoming a member and being part of this channel. Abdurazak, what do you think about that match, bro? The floor's yours.
The match, I don't know, man. The first half was bad, I think. And in my opinion, I think it was probably up there with Man United, which I think was probably the worst Chelsea game I've seen in about 20 years as a Chelsea fan. I thought the first half was very, very bad. I mean, you got to bear in mind who we're playing. Sheffield United, bottom of the league, unable to create anything. And, genuinely at that point, I felt that they're probably going to just park the bus and score on the counter or from the set piece. And that I thought we were going to lose at that point, which sort of tells you all you need to know about how the season's gone, where Chelsea are. Second half was better, but I think, if you take the whole game, I don't think that was a good game and not a good sign, I think. But it kind of shows you how important confidence is, doesn't it? Because we scored the first goal a bit out of nowhere. And then from there on, it was, we looked so much better. So, if we can somehow win against Wolves and get a bit of momentum, you never know. Could string together a few results and might look like a football team again. I don't think the players are bad, but I don't know. It's gone on for so long. like you kind of think, is it the players maybe? Is it the manager? Because it can't just be luck, because you can have a couple of bad results, but it's gone on so long that it's become the normal, and it's going to be very hard, I think, getting out of that and becoming a top 4 team again, let alone competing for titles. I don't know. What did you think?
No, man, that's a very sound assessment, man. I fully agree with you. I think the first half was horrendous, especially against a team that is 20th. We should be doing so much better. Second half for me, I thought tactically it was very, very evident we changed something because Sterling became the free player in the middle and Cole Palmer went to the right. That was so evident to see that Cole Palmer in the first half was more central. He was dropping into midfield and Sterling was on the right. So it was a good change that Pochettino probably observed, I suppose, allowing Sterling to be a little bit more free just behind Jackson. And obviously we then got the goal where he hit the byline, cut it back in, and brilliant run from Cole Palmer. We'll talk about Cole Palmer very, very soon, and gets that goal. And after the goal, you're right, the confidence. The game is all about confidence, isn't it? Get that one goal, you're buzzing, players are moving a lot more freer, and lo and behold, we get the second goal as well. Like quite immediately, we get that second goal. And then after that, I think we were pretty much in control of that second half. But you're right. What seems to be the true problem here? Is it the manager? Is it the players? Because when we were up, as you said, Abdulrazak, and we were playing good, it all kind of looked like everything was falling into place. And you sort of wonder, why can't that happen each and every match? What's going on? So it is this is why I said, man, momentum. This is why I'm not getting too excited about this particular match. I'm very, very grateful for the 3 points. Extremely grateful for the 3 points. But I think the Newcastle match will be a big challenge. And let's see. I don't want it to be 1 step forward, 5 steps back. Do you know what I mean? That's what's been happening in recent times. Let me just quickly take care of this super chat. SK, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Mudryk really reminds me of Salah when he first came. He had a similar start with us. I think rotate him, develop his IQ and footy brain, could be elite. Yeah, perhaps we just need to stay patient. Let's now talk about Valen. I'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Shervin. Let's talk about that extra player, right? How we were able to play Cole Palmer and I suppose Mudryk and Sterling and Jackson the 4, and then having that less midfielder. Valen, do you think at times we may need to sacrifice an attacker and play another midfielder, or do you feel if we go with 2 robust midfielders who can cover a lot of the ground, it will allow us to play that extra player, where in this case Cole Palmer was on the right, Sterling was through the middle. It just allows us to be a little bit more dynamic in attack. Do you think that's the way forward? Or because I feel like 3 midfielders, especially when these midfielders, none of them score. Do you know what I mean? Like none of them score, none of them really produce assists match after match after match. I mean, we expect Enzo to do that, but what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts in regards to the 2-man midfield and 3-man midfield?
For now, I think Poch should stick with the 2-man midfield because look, he needs to get as many points as possible, and having more attacking players would try to help ease the pressure off of him. But overall, I think a 3-man midfield should be the way to go because that's when you want the players to be controlling the game there, compared to having all 4 attacking and not having a guy off the bench you can bring on to help if, let's say, we need to have a substitution.
Interesting. Shervin, your thoughts on that?
I think this was bound to happen eventually because remember, we bought in Nkunku thinking that he's going to be the guy behind the striker, right? Now, obviously, he got injured and he was out until now, but and that's why we've had to look at other options. But I think the plan all along was to have a 2-man midfield, and then we have Nkunku up top. We have 2 wingers on the 2 sides, and then we have Nicholas Jackson up front, right? So
because in the preseason it was 4-2-3-1. Really, everyone's talking about 4-2-3-1. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think this was just bound to happen eventually. Now, what this means for an Enzo or for a Lavia, if let's say Caicedo and Gallagher keep working, I don't know. That's where it gets tough because I don't think the owners are going to be happy about $120 million Enzo Fernandez just sitting on the bench, or even Lavia for that matter. So I'm not sure how that could work, but at least if we win games and we get points, at least we have one less problem to worry about. And at least I'd rather worry about that problem than just losing every game.
No, well said, man. Abdurrazzaq, like, do you think? I want to ask you, what do you think about that midfield, man? Caicedo and Gallagher, maybe potentially down the track, Caicedo and Lavia. Is Enzo going to get hurt here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't work out the midfield today. I thought that was Caicedo's best game I've seen for Chelsea. I don't know what you guys thought. You know, I thought he was sort of playing passes, dribbling, crossing, everything. It reminded me a bit of Kante, I think. But I couldn't work out who was the defensive mid, or which one was higher, him or Conor Gallagher.
I think they were both taking in tandem. They were both working in combination.
Yeah,
but it allowed them the space, because when Enzo's there, it kind of reduces their space to run around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because normally Caicedo's the CDM, isn't he? And you've got kind of Enzo roaming a bit high. But today, like you say, they were sort of both central midfielders instead of CDMs.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've kind of in private kind of criticized Enzo quite heavily. I think at home in front of my TV. But I don't know. He's very talented, but he needs to sort of. He's got the ability. We just want to see the end product. Caicedo, I think, looked good today. Conor Gallagher, I've sort of been. I don't know. I mean, at one point I thought he was decent. When we had Mount and Gallagher, I thought, right, Gallagher's the better player. And then they had that really bad period. I think, if you remember, at some point last year, it may have been sort of halfway through the season, where Gallagher was playing quite a lot.
During the December period, I think. It was during the December period.
His form was not good. And at that point, I thought, right, he might not be good enough. But then, start of this year, he's been, I think, probably one of our best midfielder, probably top 3 players, I think, this season. And at this point, I'm thinking, but now again, having seen today the last few games, I'm thinking he's probably a good player in terms of what he does. But then again, if we want to compete with Real Madrid and Man City, if in the heart of midfield you've got sort of Gallagher with his playing style, I'm not sure whether that is your best 11, if you see what I mean. I don't know. It's he's got a function, but as a starter every single game, I'm not entirely convinced. I think some of the teams that we play against, like Sheffield United or Nottingham Forest, I get really frustrated with the manager. I mean, I think, why doesn't he just go all out attack?
Yeah, throw the kitchen
take out
sink.
Somebody's exactly. I mean, especially if the results have been the way they've been. Like, apparently we had 2 wins at home out of 19 before today.
That's
2 wins at home out of 19, and you're playing Nottingham Forest.
4 CBs. You're playing 4 CBs.
It doesn't make any sense. If you try something and it doesn't work, surely at some point you say, right, I'm just going to go all out attack against the next small team that comes here. I'll play 2 strikers, 2 wingers, 2 cams, and maybe one defensive midfielder, and just go all out attack and see if that works. Like what Liverpool do. But for some reason we have the same kind of square formation where they're all sort of lined up, and I don't know. I think a lot of it is tactical, but the midfield, I think Caicedo, long term, I think good enough. Gallagher, I think good enough to be maybe starting here and there, maybe in the bigger games, but against the smaller teams, I think probably should be on the bench. And Enzo, at the moment, I think he's got the ability, but will it ever? I'm not sure whether we'll see it at Chelsea. I feel in a way we're doing him a bit of a disservice. So I think he's such a good player. If he was playing for Juventus,
he just doesn't match what Pochettino wants to do, I think, with this team. Like Valen and I were just saying, Enzo at Napoli, for example, under Sarri, would just ball out. Enzo at Barcelona, I think, would ball out because they just play in a different style as opposed to Pochettino. So, man.
And he was balling out last year under Potter as well.
And you can see the system's different, right? Graham Potter plays in a different way. Valen, I want to go to you and talk to you about this the 4 CBs at the back. Obviously, today against Sheffield United, because of injuries, I suppose we've tried that. But Cucurella, this is another news that we want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Cucurella is out till February, so that there goes your left back. So Levi Colwill looks like he's now set to be a left back for life at Chelsea Football Club. Ben Chilwell is injured as well. Ian Martin is not favoured. Ian Martin, I would have liked to see Ian Martin as a left back, but he's just not favoured. I mean, in the right side, Malo Gusto might come back, should come back. Vela, what's your thoughts? Like, we need fullbacks that gives us a lot more width and that ability to overlap, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, in a Pochettino's team, he always likes his fullbacks to have energy. They can bomb up, bomb down, cross the ball, run around. That's why he loves Chilwell. I mean, I'm just surprised he hasn't tested Gallagher or Caicedo in the right back position yet.
We'll be short in midfield then. Like if we don't have too many midfielders that are fit at the moment. I think Oguchuku is also injured as well. So, do you like Levi Colwill at left back, Valen?
Nope. You could see even Cole Palmer was having a go at Disasi when he was playing right back.
Yeah, he was pointing to him, wasn't he? He's like,
yeah,
give me an option, like overlap me so I can actually have an option to pass.
Yeah.
Now this is an issue. Shervin, this fullback situation. Malo Gusto seems like he's getting injured as well. He's picking up those odd injuries here and there. He came on today in the second half, played some small little minutes. We expect him. I think it was you who said that don't think Malo Gusto is going to start. I think it might be Desasi. You did say that, and you were bang on about that. Start with Levi Colwill, then talk to me about the right side as well. Like, I don't feel like we get enough purchase from our fullbacks, man.
No, we definitely don't. Levi Colwill, I don't know why Pochettino has made this decision. What baffles me even more is why does he hate Ian Maatsen so much? It seems like it's a personal hatred at this point. I mean, it seems like he would rather play Levi Colwill there. He would rather play Ben Chilwell there. He would rather play Cucurella there. He would rather play Badiashile and Silva and Desasi in the other
maybe Petrovic as well.
Yeah, before no, but seriously, he would rather play Badiashile as a center back, Thiago Silva as a center back, Desasi as a right back, just so he can put Levi Colwill at the left back, so he doesn't have to put Ian Maatsen in the team. I don't know what he's done to deserve this. I think he could have maybe given him a chance today, or maybe like in some. I don't even know if he started into the cup games, maybe one of them or something. I don't remember.
One
exactly.
might have been against Wimbledon. Might have been Wimbledon.
I think so. Yeah, one of those. Was that the one we couldn't watch?
Yeah, we couldn't watch that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Matisse was just live streaming from on Instagram. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know why he's doing this. I think he needs at least a little bit of a chance. Maybe against Newcastle he can get a chance. I don't think he will, but it's unfortunate. As far as Malo Gusto goes, we got to see if the injuries are going to be an ever-present thing, kind of like Reece James and what we're experiencing there. If they are, then same energy, right? Like we're not just saying that for Reece James, but not it's not like we're not going to say the same for Gusto. If he's going to keep getting injured over and over again, that's just not good enough. We have to find a different solution for that. And what really is painful to see is Livramento. I don't know if you've been watching Newcastle recently, but Livramento has been like easily one of their best players.
Killing it. He's been killing it.
And we let this guy go because, and it made sense at the time. We said, okay, we have Reece James, so he's never going to have the chance to be a starter for us, even if he develops. So for that reason, it's better for both parties if we go our separate ways. But this is even more because I see a lot of people hate on, why do you want to get rid of Reece James? Here's the thing. If the guy can't play, what's to say there isn't going to be another Livramento in the academy that looks up and sees, there's a Reece James there's a Malo Gusto there. I'm never going to have a chance at right back at Chelsea. They go off somewhere else and we miss out on another talent, right? So who knows? Maybe we can even find a great right back in the market. And we, again, miss out on another opportunity because we have these two injury-prone players. So that's why I think at the end of the day, it might be a good idea to just say goodbye.
Yeah, no, you're right, man.
Look at Lewis Hall, for example. A lot of fans are hyping him up coming back. But I don't think Pochettino rates him. So I think even if he comes back, Pochettino's like,
he's short.
All right, you can leave. I don't think Pochettino's going to keep Lewis Hall. look, I don't trust the owners. Already don't look at Cobham as a place to earn money. They don't care about the youth players in Cobham. I think Lewis Hall will be so regardless next season.
Yep. Even if he doesn't trigger all of those parameters for Newcastle, I think eventually enough he'll be sold. I mean, if the reason for using Levi Colwill is height on the left side, then Lewis Hall can't make it either.
Yep.
Just simple as that. And I think this is why Ben Chilwell has been utilized as a winger in the earlier parts, because he's not tall either. Do you know what I mean? But I feel Ben Chilwell, from an aerial standpoint, aerial duels, Ben Chilwell is actually very, very good aerially.
Yep.
He's got a good leap. Abdulrazak, I want to ask you, brother, these fullbacks, I'm not feeling it, man. Like Reece James, number one, he's always injured. Now Cucurella has gone for a while as well. Abdulrazak, everything has just gone dark in his side. Whenever it's fullback conversation, is dark times at Chelsea Football Club. Cucurella now is out till Feb. Brother, one, are you happy with Levi Colwill at left back, and also on the right side? I mean, Malo Gusto should be coming back, but you just never know with Pochettino how he's moving with SRC. Thoughts on the fullbacks, bro?
Yeah, no, it made me go dark. That's how bad it is. No, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. It's not, I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff that we're seeing, and it seems, we've seen it in so many games now where we think it's normal that having four centre backs, two centre backs as your left back and your right back, having four centre backs and no full backs. I don't think I've seen it in any other team. It's thinking about the history of Chelsea, where we've always had Ashley Cole, Ivanovic, we've had Azpilicueta, going all the way back. We had Basingwa, I remember that. Because today's game, if you think about Levi Colwill, I think I saw him overlap once, right, where Mudryk made a pass to him. But apart from that, he wasn't playing as a fullback. He was just, I don't know, left centre back, I guess.
Yeah,
it's not,
right.
it's not. It's not a normal fullback formation. So it's kind of
natural for him. It's not natural for him to bomb up. It's just not natural.
I think it's tactical. I think the tactic is, you stay back and make sort of a three-man defense, and then I think maybe on the Sassy side they try and kind of involve the play a bit more. Maybe because it's Reece James who's normally there. But if we didn't have James, I do wonder whether he would just have this weird flat defenders.
Flat four. Okay.
And is that point I was making earlier with the super defensive setup against these teams that are where we should just be going all out attack. All right, if we're having problems scoring, why can't Maatsen play against Sheffield? Like, are we afraid we're going to lose to Sheffield? He's going to make a mistake and they're going to beat us. We're going to lose 1-0.
I was afraid. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If we can score like a normal team, right? I mean, Aston Villa will play a match and they'll have Matty Cash and whoever else. They'll just play more brave, right? Yeah, we're having to do all of these strange things where, four centre backs and then you've got, three kind of defensive midfielders. Start of the season, it started so bad. You had Chilwell on the left. You had one striker and then you had Sterling. It was two attackers in the whole team. I remember, and I was watching this.
Are you sort of alluding to the fact that Pochettino is a bit conservative, like he's a bit scared?
Yeah, he's definitely conservative. It might be because the team is, he thinks maybe a bit fragile, right? Or kind of prone to errors and things. But at the same time, right, I think if your weakness is scoring goals, then setting up with these strange formations that, I don't know. If you ask him and say, is this how you, in an ideal world, would you set up with, 4 or even 3 centre backs, as one of them being your fullback? Or are you doing this because of necessity? A part of me thinks that he prefers having Colwill as the left back rather than Chilwell. He'd 100%. Rather have a big guy there. Which is then, what are we doing? He's not a fullback at that point. You're playing some sort of strange 3 at the back, defensive kind of defense first, formation, approach. Even against very, very poor teams. Yeah,
Yep.
so I think for me it's more that kind of issue. I understand having height, but again, if you're playing Sheffield, you're bottom of the league, and you're concerned that if you play Maatsen, who's an actual fullback, you're going to have a problem with height, and then you might lose because of that. Then I think how Chelsea's fallen basically. I mean, if it's come to that we're having to make tactical adaptations to play the bottom of the league at home, and we're having to So I
Do you know
think
what,
tactically
Abdurrazak?
for me.
Do you know what, Abdurrazak? I think you bring up a damn good point here. Do you know what's happening here? Have you noticed how City play with Nathan Ake as a left back, but sometimes in defense he becomes like a three at the back. The issue here is Nathan Ake is quite strong and sound as a centre back and as a left back. As a left back, he knows
Nathan
how to.
Ake was originally a left back, miss.
Originally, he was a left back. Exactly. He then transformed into a centre back, and he transformed into a very good centre back. I think that's when he was playing sort of that LCB position. Might have been in Bournemouth when he was there. But the difference between Nathan Ake is, as Valan just mentioned, he was a left back. That's where he understands bombing forward, crossing, cutting in. He's far more sound. I think Pochettino is trying to do that with Levi Colwill. Well, Levi Colwill's never been a left back. Now what's happening is you're trying to transform a centre back into a left back. Whereas I think transitioning from a left back to a left centre back is probably a lot more easier, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know. I think from what I've seen, right, I think Levi Colwill's a good footballer. If Pochettino wanted him to be a fullback, I think he could do a much better job bombing up and down and making overlapping runs and things. I think he's being told to play almost like a kind of a left centre back, and not really go past the halfway line. That's why I think.
So what you're saying
I
is
think
Levi Colwill has that. It's just he's been instructed not to do that.
I think he's under instruction to stay in his own half or to not make overlapping runs. That's what. So I think it's just more of a defensive formation. Because if you want a fullback, we've got plenty of fullbacks. I mean, I know they're injured now, but Levi Colwill has been playing the majority of the last 10 games, I would say, when he had Cucurella on the bench. I think he just chooses to play a more defensive back three, disguised as a kind of a left back.
Very, very interesting. Shervin, do you agree what Abdurrazak is saying here? I think maybe if you give the license to Levi Colwill to express himself, potentially it could be. But maybe it's the instructions that you stay a bit reserved. We want to maybe line up with 3 defenders at all times, which is why I think Desasi at times goes forward. This is why probably we see Desasi, but obviously that doesn't come naturally to him as well. This is probably why we see Reece James obviously trying to be up and down whenever he was fit. Malo Gusto. So is it probably the fact that we don't want both the fullbacks to go up and down? We maybe just want one to have that balance, to have 3 always at the back, and add that other extra fullback as another attacking outlet. Do you probably agree with what Abdurrazak said?
I think so, yeah. I think so because if you remember, last season he was playing as a center back for Brighton. And even though he was a center back, he wasn't even a fullback. He was bombing up and forward all the time. All the time. You talked about this one time when he was playing against Liverpool and he was basically in their box the whole time. And he was playing against...
there was a match against Arsenal as well, Shervin, where he tracked down Odegaard all the way to Arsenal's goal. Like he from the left CB position.
Exactly, yeah. So I think he can definitely do more than what he's doing now. Could he be like a full-on fullback? I don't know. But I definitely think he could bomb up more than he is right now, and he's probably been told not to. And, we just got to take it as it is. At least we got a clean sheet today because our defensive record has been absolutely abysmal for the past, God knows, 7 or 8, 9 games.
Yeah.
We've been conceding at least 2 goals every single game.
Yep.
And if we can at least fix up our defense, at least that's something. And if it takes maybe attacking with 1 fullback, so be it. But yeah, eventually we definitely got to look at improving that area as well.
I think in that case, then we must have a very, very good one of the fullbacks. Like they have to be excellent. So in the next match, I think Malo Gusto has to be, coming into the frame. SK, thank you so much for the super chat. We saw in preseason Poch wants one fullback to hold back while the other bombs up. Preseason Gusto back while Chilwell went up same time. Same things happen now. Perhaps that's the case. Bahin is saying, personally, Miz, I think Poch is just as same as Tuchel because they know that at Chelsea cannot defend with 2 defenders. We need 3 defenders at all times to prevent counter-attack. Perhaps that's the case. And maybe this is why we want to go for another centre-back. Who knows? We've got Tiger in the house. Tiger, my man, how you doing? Big up, Casually FC. Tiger, bro, you there? You're on mute.
Yeah. I just was caught up in your stream being playing at the background, so it's all gush up in my ears. Early morning ears, so it's 6 o'clock in the morning here in India.
What time is it?
6 o'clock in the morning. Just woke up.
Wow, man, everyone's just waking up.
On the account of nowadays, from our standards, a great Chelsea win, I guess. 2-0 as I predicted. So yeah,
as you did predict, and you're right. Our standards at the moment, this is a great win, I suppose. Let's take the conversation to Cole Palmer. I think we need to all talk about Cole Palmer. We'll start things off with Valan. Valan, my man, Cole Palmer wasn't great in the first half. A lot of people were commenting, and I was saying the same thing. Is Cole Palmer getting into the situation where he came in with a lot of enthusiasm, was looking so good, and then the last few games he's sort of crumbled like the rest of the team? But Cole Palmer turned things around big time in the second half. I think it helped him playing on the right side. Sometimes I don't understand. Sometimes Cole Palmer plays really good just behind the striker. Mauricio Pochettino did say post-match that he does see him as a playmaker. Sometimes he plays really well just behind the striker. Sometimes he does really well on the right side. I guess we just need to make sure what works for him best. This game, it did work for him on the right side. Cutting back in, he was creating havoc. He was opening up the field. He was finding those passes to Sterling as well. He was finding those passes into the box. And obviously scores a really, really good goal. Great movement into the box. Anticipation. This is what I said in the watch-along, that we need the wingers to go at the defenders, get in on the byline, either cut it back in or put a cross in, and then throw in the kitchen sink, as Abdul Razak said. Throw a lot of players into the box and get those tapping goals and really line up. This is what Liverpool does at best. This is what Man City does as well. Very, very good. Valen, what do you think about Cole Palmer, man? Sensational second half performance.
Yeah, Cole Palmer was definitely one of the standouts. But I think Sterling played a part as well.
Yes. My man Sterling.
So it was
give some good praise about Sterling.
I mean, for the first half, you could see that Sterling was slowing the game down whenever he got the ball. And when in the second half, he started attacking the fullback. Yeah, Sterling was attacking Max Lowe a lot, and then he created space for Cole Palmer to come in and do his damage.
And damage did he do? My God, he did a lot of damage. Shervin, Cole Palmer's performance, man, second half. Okay, albeit Sheffield United, but we're not in any position to discredit anyone at this moment. For us, everyone is difficult. Before the match, everyone was worried about Sheffield United. So we can't be worried, but then once we win, we can't then say, but it's Sheffield United. So we have to hold the balance. Sheffield United is a particular team that beat Brentford last weekend. Brentford beat us. So we have to respect every team in the Premier League. Cole Palmer, I thought was sensational, man. This kid, if we can just get in on a bit of a momentum, keep winning more games, he's going to be so vital for us, man. He's going to be very, very vital for us.
Yeah, actually, Cole Palmer is the only signing that when we made it under these new owners, I said that's a 10 out of 10 signing, because unlike all the other young players we've bought, this is a player who's, first of all, much further along in their development. He's not like a Mudryk, who's super raw, who's never developed. He's been developing under one of the best managers in the world at City. Yes. And I remember watching him last season. He was electric against us. He obviously, he scored. He saved Man City's bottom against both the was it the Community Shield and the Europa?
Yes,
the
both of them.
Super
Yes.
Cup. Yeah, both of them.
Yes.
And he just seems like he seemed like the natural progression and the natural next Phil Foden at Man City to me.
We talk about Mudryk's IQ, and then we talk about Cole Palmer's IQ. It's just night and day.
100%. I mean, he's been developed in a much different environment. It's a very competitive environment in Man City. Just making it through to that team, even as a sub, that's already not an easy task at all. And also impressing one of the best managers in the world, again, not easy. This is a guy who's seen it all. So if he picks you, that means he's seeing a lot of good things in you. And I was shocked that City even allowed him to go, even for 40 million. I thought there's no chance. Like, this is going to be another Phil Foden. They're going to protect him at all costs. And I thought that was a great get. And I've been very happy with him this season. I think he has been easily one of our best players.
Yes.
And yeah, I thought first half, I was saying this as well. I was saying it in the chat. I was saying that, he seems asleep. Kind of seems like he's kind of just settling into the team in all the wrong ways.
He wasn't good. Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. But no one else was. I'm not just
no one else was.
I'm not singling out on anything. But second half, he was amazing. He turned around completely. 10 out of 10 performance in the second half. He did it all. He should have had another assist if Broja just puts that ball in. He should have had another assist, and he could have had another goal as well with the free kick laid on. He should have had a penalty as well. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Can I just say this, by the way? We scored a perfectly good goal. There's literally nothing to check about that goal. Yet we have to sit here for them to go through every single bit of that play. But then when our players... It's a joke. And then when our players brought down in the penalty, they don't even look at it. They're just like, oh, Virchik, oh, no, never mind. Carry on. So ridiculous. But but you know what? Whatever. We won the game, so it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, he was amazing, and I really hope he keeps this up because I think he can be a very good and very pivotal player for us going forward.
100%, man. Definitely deserved that second assist. How Armando Broja missed that? Oh my God, Abdulrazak. This is one player, Cole Palmer. I think the owners, with their philosophy of buying youth and turning them into profit players. Cole Palmer is definitely going to be profitable for these new owners. He's definitely already probably around 50-60 million pounds worth. So they probably made already 20 million off him. And if he continues in this manner, he'll probably double that rate. What do you think about Cole Palmer, bro?
Yeah, no. I mean, I hope they don't make a profit on him. What we don't want is bankrupting the club and having to sell everyone. Which honestly, it does genuinely. I've got a little bit of a genuine concern that the amount of money we've spent, and I'm finishing, 10th, and again this year probably about 10th again. At some point, I feel like they may have to start selling some of our better players to try and balance the books. But Palmer, I think. He's one player that even if he's having a bad game, I can be patient with because he's got a moment of magic in him.
Yes.
And he's got GNA, and a lot of other players, you sort of want them hooked up if they're having a first half like he was having. But I think with him, I can have that patience. And, like you saw today, he's got a moment of magic where suddenly out of nowhere, he can do something like against Man United. I thought that was a brilliant goal. It sort of reminded me of Ronaldinho, sort of dribbling and then a very clever finish that was placed perfectly, And it's so difficult to do that type of finish with the goalkeeper and all the defenders there and sort of place it that perfectly. And you saw the free kick he tried to do today. Something similar. He sort of tried to lift it up, and the keeper struggled. It was really, I don't know. I thought it was really odd that the keeper struggled, but I saw what he was trying to do.
Keeper parried it, if the keeper parried it in front of Jackson's feet, like right in front, I think Jackson then slots that in.
Yeah, so he's a player from almost like not a different era, but he's got that kind of flair that not many players have, and that calmness. I think when he's on the ball. So I think he's a brilliant footballer. Long term. I think he's the sort of caliber of player that we need. Because if you had an equivalent of 4 of him making up our attack,
4 of him, oh my God!
Right,
we win the World Cup.
or 4 of players of his sort of ability and performances that he's putting in. A centre forward who
I think
Nkunku might be. Yeah, Nkunku might be. Yeah, so this is I suppose the kind of more Chelsea level player that. Or performances, I should say, that you'd expect especially with all the money that's been spent and the fact that we're buying these guys in, right? I mean, if you're bringing someone in, the idea is to have a better player, a better team. Yes. I'm not sure, it seems like we've brought in 20 players. It's quite hard to say that is a clear big upgrade on the player who was there before. If you see what I mean? Nicholas Jackson, I think he's a good player. In fairness, I won't even go there. I was going to say compared to players we had last year, but I think he's a better centre forward than Kai Havertz, right? But if you see what I mean, it's not like you sort of went out and got in. Like when we brought in Diego Costa from Atletico Madrid, you knew what you were getting, right? He was top scoring in Spain, and you knew who you were getting in. But now I think some of the players that we're getting in, I'm not sure if they're a clear upgrade on who was there before. But yeah, Miz, the main reason I even got a membership was to talk about Sterling. I don't know if you remember. I'm the guy who's been putting the Sterling messages. No, bro. I think you were talking. You had a few weeks back. You were talking about sending him to Saudi. I think you were saying if he continues on current performances, he should go to Saudi. And I remember. Yeah, man. And you know what? Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not. I'm not a Sterling fan, or I'm not a fan of one player or whatever. But I was thinking, and at that point, it was like Palmer and Sterling were the only ones who were carrying the team, basically. And I was like, look, this team is, not far from relegation. You take out Sterling, the goals and assists that he's had this year, even at this point, right? If you take him out, what would happen to the team? Yeah, exactly. So, even though he's not, if you compare him with Gabriel Jesus, I don't know if Sterling's been worse than him this year. I'm not sure if he has.
I think maybe Gabriel Jesus has probably been worse. You're right. Yeah, Sterling hasn't. But you get my point. What I was trying to say, Abdurrazak. I love Sterling, though. Like, hear me out now before you go again. I love Sterling. But this is the thing with for me in regards to Sterling. I need Sterling to be far more consistent, Abdurrazak. He's my experienced dog. He's my experienced player. I need him to perform out of 10 games, 8 out of 10 games. I need him because if I don't get that from him, I can't expect that from the kids because the kids are the kids, right? I can't expect Raheem Sterling to play like the kid. Now, you can turn around and say, look, Miz, the entire team's not doing well. Completely understand. But I need him to perform
I understand.
all the time. And if he continues in this manner, there's a lot of wages that's been paid for Raheem Sterling.
A lot of wages being paid, but I don't know. I would argue he's doing more than X amount of players put together, kind of thing. He might be making goals and but exactly that was. So that my point was that if you took him out, we would be a much worse team. Like we would be.
I get that.
There's been so many games where even today, right? He got the ball, suddenly he went through. Pulled it back for Palmer to score, and there's been so many games where he's done the same thing, where he's just gotten the ball, made a run out of nowhere, scored, or maybe had an assist.
Sterling should have had a lot more assists. Yeah,
exactly. So I was thinking, you take him out, we're just gonna, the few kind of glimmer. Even I agree with you, right? His performances are very frustrating. Yeah. Every other game, he'll have one good game, one average game, one poor game, one amazing game, right? It's not consistent, but. At the same time, I almost feel like Chelsea of old, we would have had maybe someone like Sterling sitting on the bench, right? That would have been the bench player, an equivalent of I'm not going to say Malouda because Malouda played quite a lot, but maybe a Kalou or a Sturridge when he was at Chelsea or something. Yeah. But now it's almost like we sell him, and in the first 11 we bring in the guys who we've got that are
we're screwed. We're screwed.
And let alone, you kind of get rid of him. The guys who are there at the moment that are not probably finished yet, right? I don't think they're at a level that I don't think is fair on them, bringing some of them in and then expecting them to be a top 4 team straight away, right? A top 4 player. So, I think, I agree with you, expensive, but I don't think we can get rid of him. I think we need him. And that we depend.
Can I just push back on that for a second?
Go.
Because Raheem Sterling is an experienced player. You can probably sell him for a good chunk of change. What if?
How much is a good chunk of change?
Well, let me get into that.
I think Saudis will pay a lot.
Yeah, Saudis will probably pay.
What is a lot? 50 million? I don't think you're going to get more than that.
But here's the thing:
we
can do
make a profit out of that because he's now been here.
Yeah, but
and we can use that for.
I guess my fear is my fear is, like I said earlier, every time we've sold someone and brought someone else in, there's no guarantees. Do you trust the guys who are making the decisions to bring us another player who's going to get Sterling's goals and assists? Do you really?
Fair. That's fair. If you bring in another kid, then I completely
even if you bring a Finnish player in, there's no guarantee they're going to perform at the level that Sterling is. Because even in the Premier League, who can you bring in, right, below 50 million, who's going to do what Sterling is doing?
I don't know how much it would cost, but for example, just an example, if you bring in if you bring in a Mitoma,
you're not going. He's going to cost you 120 million or at least 100 million.
Well, we don't know that, right? It might not, but okay, he's gone.
He'll be back. Go on, Shervin.
But yeah, if we bring in a player of that caliber, who can still take on players, we don't really lose out on that much with Sterling.
Angelo Gabriel.
That's a good shout. But again,
Angelo Gabriel's a good shout, but he's
still being developed. 100%. So if he like did really well this season, then we could have looked at that. But I don't know what's going on with his loan. I know he's like sometimes playing, sometimes he's not playing. But if we had an experienced player that we could bring in instead of a Sterling, who we felt could be more consistent, what's up?
They'll bring Michael Olise and hope that he becomes Sterling. I'm telling you.
If we were gonna do that,
then that might be a shot.
But he's always injured too.
He's always injured as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There is no one like Sterling out there. A proven dribbler, attacker on the right and left wing. I don't see anyone coming under 110, 120 mil.
But you know what? I do understand what Abdulrazak is saying.
Hello? Hi. Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. My internet connection went. So I missed what was said.
I think all the Raheem Sterling haters just logged you out, bro. Shervin, you were going to say something. Shervin was going to say something. Go on, Shervin. Bro.
Yeah, I was just saying that if we bring in an inexperienced player, I agree with you, but I'm sure we can find players like Mitoma, and it might cost a little bit more, but if we get that more consistently, wouldn't you say that's worth it? I think it would.
I would want that person playing alongside Sterling, right, in order to elevate the team. If you see what I mean, I wouldn't want to take out Sterling.
I see what you mean.
To bring in, the money that's being paid to Sterling. I agree with you. You want someone who's, probably going to do a bit more, right? But I don't think as bad as he. I think the main thing with him is his bottom level is very bad, right? I don't think he's generally very bad because he can do things that change a game just like that, right? He'll have 3 bad touches, and suddenly just make a run out of nowhere that can get an assist or maybe score a goal. So I think he's just an inconsistent player. But I want to see Chelsea better.
I think what you're saying is we should try and get a team better so that he can then perform better. I think that's what you're trying to say. Like get more players better in and around him so he can perform better as well.
Yeah, what I'm saying exactly. So don't deconstruct the players that we have, as in don't make the team worse, right? By taking out some of our better, even though he might not be exactly what we want, but build on the players who are at least having impact. Exactly.
I'll give some love to Sterling. Exactly. I'll say that he's kind of a reverse of how our team operates against teams. Usually against low blocks, we struggle and we don't know what to do, but Sterling usually performs well against them. If you think of the Luton game, this game, whatever. Whereas against the bigger teams, 100%. Against the bigger teams, it's kind of the other way. Like it's like our team all of a sudden is performing a lot better because they have more space. But then Sterling all of a sudden just looks a lot more inconsistent. And I think he is just more comfortable with taking on players in a low block, whereas our entire team is not comfortable with that. So it might be a good shout to keep him just for that reason alone, because he adds a little bit more dimensionality to our team so that we at least have some solution against low blocks.
I think a lot of it, can I just say, I think a lot of it is expectations, right? I think because he's meant to be, like you say, a senior player, I think some fans, because of the way the club are performing and where the team is intent, there's a lot of frustration, right, towards the club, towards the players. And I think because he's a more senior player, a lot of it is landing on him. And a lot of the younger players who are newer and less experienced, they're getting more of a pass. And I think, that expectation and that kind of the fact that a lot of us are fed up of seeing what's happening at the club is going on the more senior players, and he's the most senior. I mean, the next senior players that you've got there, apart from Thiago, suddenly you've got Conor Gallagher, which his main experience is Crystal Palace. You've got Enzo, who's just, I don't know how old he is, but he's a young player, not with a lot of experience. So that's why I think it's landing on Sterling. And I don't know, if Nkunku comes in and isn't perfect, a lot of it might go into him, where players say,
I was just going to say, I think with Nkunku coming in, and this is what I've been saying all along since we've started hearing Nkunku's return, I'm thinking he will elevate others. Like, this is, I think, what Abdul Razak is saying. Nkunku coming in, it will probably get the best out of Sterling as well. And Sterling will probably get the best out of Nkunku as well. Cole Palmer, you build a team with these players. One thing I will say, Raheem Sterling, he's been robbed of so many assists. Let's not forget Nicholas Jackson against Man United. Raheem Sterling puts him through Nicholas Jackson. We all saw those pictures that Tiger shared the other day. There's been so many instances where Raheem Sterling deserved a lot more. Didn't get.
I think the Forest game too. I think the one Jackson missed was also another.
Yeah, it was also Raheem Sterling. So Raheem Sterling is not getting the right, credits that he should be getting. I want to bring in Tiger. Tiger, give me your final verdict on Raheem Sterling. I love the way Abdul Razak. I love how he just said, "I became a member to talk to you about this. Don't go anywhere, Miss. Don't go anywhere." Tiger, talk to me about Raheem Sterling. What do you think about? What do you think about his overall impact? Does he have a position at Chelsea Football Club down the track in the future? Do you agree with what Abdul Razak was saying? We should be building with him, with a lot better players in and around him.
Yeah, completely. I agree with Abdul. I mean, I personally think, Miss, if we go down the lane when Mr. Sterling joined, we all hope that we are bringing in a player of much higher caliber, a lot of experience, proven star player who will just come in and explode. But it didn't happen, did it? So this is, I guess, the first season, and last season also there were some glimpses of hope that we saw the Sterling we all wanted to see. And personally, I would like to give it to Poch for this specific player. People say he has not improved anyone else. But I personally feel for Raheem Sterling, Poch has been a great, great revelation. Because under him, I have seen a Raheem Sterling this season that we all wanted to see. He's making those cut-ins, he's making those dribbles, he's making those crucial deep line and byline passes, which are turning into goals. It's our misfortune that we have someone like, how to
We won't go there.
pronounce his name?
You hate that person up front.
Jackson. I don't hate, but I mean, he scored a goal, so everyone is on my neck. But yeah. Anyways, he's a top goal. He's our top worst goal scorer, as people say. So all right, but if we had anyone else in our boxes, or even more players going up front our box, Sterling would have easily more assists this season than he already has.
Yes.
Yesterday also, I guess the cross he gave was very brilliant.
Excellent cross.
Right?
Excellent.
So,
but you know what? If it wasn't for a player like Palmer, that cross also goes unpunished.
Put in Jackson there. It's gone.
Put in
And
Jackson.
Broya did a Jackson there. I mean, Broya. I mean, I don't have words. Okay. Imagine what happens if we only have, God forbid, if we only had Broya and Jackson for the whole season till summer. We are doomed. It's good that we have Nkunku.
Yeah.
And guys like Palmer to help us. So for me, Sterling is brilliant. Sterling is the only glimmer of experience hope. But the problem is, will the owners keep someone like Sterling, or will the performance he is delivering will only attract more money for them? Because Saudi is going to come in summer, I'm telling you. If Sterling is performing like this, Saudi will come with big money.
I think this is where Poch will have to... I think there was a comment here from someone saying, from Rich Moneymakers, according to Matt Law, Poch wants experienced players to build this project like he did at Tottenham. So this is where... I suppose this is the contradiction that we're seeing. Poch, we want him to keep... Like, Poch likes Gallagher. And I'm fully in belief Poch likes Sterling. because Sterling starts a lot of the games. Poch wants these type of players, right? Because he feels that they bring the character for the team. But if the owners and the board keep getting rid of all of these players, you're almost setting up Poch to fail.
Can I say something on this, actually? Because this was a hot topic yesterday, or whenever it was, on All You Can Eat Chelsea. And the issue at hand is that it seems like Poch wants to keep Gallagher, but the owners want to sell. There's a couple of things to keep in mind. We don't necessarily know if Poch wants to keep Gallagher. We don't know if Lavia comes back, Gallagher is going to be the first choice. I'm not saying he won't be. I'm just saying that's something we don't know for sure. Another issue is that, remember, we are in a lot of trouble with FFP if we don't get Europe next season. So this might be a reaction from the board where they're saying, okay, you're not getting Europe, so sorry, I know you want to keep this player, but you can't deliver Europe, so we have to do something, right? Yeah. And who can we sell where we can get just pure profit? Yeah, that would be the academy players, so a Gallagher or a Reece James, something along those lines, right? And in that situation, I mean, I don't love the fact that the board are forcing our manager, but the manager did that to himself, right? If we had actually performed better, if we had,
what you're saying is the board has told the manager, get us Europe, you can keep your player. Don't get us Europe, I'm forced to sell your players.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what's happening in this situation, right? And I mean, I get where they're coming from. I don't love it, but what can they really do? They brought in a manager to a very well-run club, at least until they came in, a very well-run club, a huge club who has spent $1 billion on players. And if this club can't even get sixth, I mean, can you really blame the owners for saying, well, you know, you did this to yourself, we have to sell this player to balance the books?
This is where I want to bring in Valan and talk into the final segment of this show. Valan, do you feel this is why, and we saw some of these rumors yesterday, apparently we are prioritizing the Newcastle game, the Carabao Cup game, because that is a route to Europe, albeit Conference League, but still a route to Europe. I think we might go very heavy on the FA Cup as well, but I've seen Levi Colwell post-match coming out and also saying we are fired up to beat Newcastle on Tuesday night because of not only what they did at St. James's Park, so we want revenge, but I think there is a component of we need to get this Carabao Cup to somehow get some level of European football. I know a lot of our fan base don't like Conference League. It's not something to be proud of, but it is European football. More matches, more revenue from stadium. And, you know, they can bolster the team. You know, they can allow for more players to play, their youth to develop, because right now it's one game a week. Balan, do you think this game against Newcastle, not just the fact that we want to win silverware, which is huge. For me, win the silverware. I could care less about Europe Conference League. But I think the owners want some level of European football. Would you agree, Valan?
I mean, yeah, we are Chelsea Football Club, right? It means we have to have Europe. And I think the owners, after spending $1 billion, you would expect them to want something. I mean, what type of owners would be like, oh yeah, let's make 12 again, let's make 10 again. And I mean, look, the Conference League is, if we get in, chances are we are most likely to win it. And we can be the first club to have won the Conference League, the Europa League, or the Champions League.
I see how you're seeing this. That's the strategy. I mean, let's go to Abdul Razak on this one. How big is this game against Newcastle? Not just obviously for the fact that we have a chance to, you know, win a silverware, which is going to be very important for this group of players and also important for the fans, but the fact that there's a route to Europe as well.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point about, because when I think of European Conference League, I'm not thinking it's going to bring in loads of money, but you're probably right. With, you know, more games, probably get more match day revenue and stuff, and more experience for the players. But you know, I think like Valen said, you know, at this moment I'll take anything really. So I think, and because they've beaten us recently, right? And you know, what was it? 4-0 they beat us. I think it was 3-0.
4-1.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing, and you know, just to kind of almost save face and earn back some of that that thrashing they gave us. To me, that would probably be more important, just to kind of make up for that, and at least put together a few games where we're actually winning. Because if we don't, winning today was fine, but if hadn't we won today, then you would have said, right, this is a full-blown crisis. This is not, nothing to do with the players. Something's going on here. And I think with Newcastle, again, I think it's such an important game. I'm not the owner of the club, right? I can't make decisions. But if we were to go there and then lose, I would think they've spent so much money, and this club is so far away from where they need it to be that they are completely doing something wrong. Whether it's the recruitment or something is completely off. So I think it's a must-win game. Really, I'm completely impatient now, I think, at this point, and fed up of winning one, and then
losing two,
kind of losing the next game. And so have to win, and we shall see how it goes.
Raheem Sterling, man of the match, bro. Put it down. Put that down.
Alexander Isak, I think. Or knowing Chelsea will be Miley. What's the
17-year-old? Miley Cyrus. Bro, he scored. By the way, Newcastle 3-0 winners. 3-0 winners against Fulham, but apparently they picked up two more key injuries. So one of them being Joel Linton.
Tiger, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We need to win. Tiger, that game against Newcastle, important in many, many different, levels. How are you feeling about that moving into that match, man? As Abdulrazak said, enough with the yo-yo type of form that we have. We need to start building some momentum and finish off this December period with as many wins as possible, especially this one. Obviously, Carabao Cup. We're very close now to actually winning it.
Yes, Miss. I personally feel that the last win is really will really contribute to our confidence, if nothing else. But see, I don't really want to undermine a win, as you said, also in yesterday's live stream when you were doing the watch along. A win is a win, so we should rejoice at the end that we have successfully won. So much of nihilism won't help anyone. But personally, we all know that the first half was really not what it should have been under a 20th side, right? So if we are like that against Newcastle for even 15 minutes, not 30 minutes, not 45 minutes.
We're dead.
Do you recall Miz and Abdul and Milan and Shravan and the chat? They got 2-3 good chances right there in the first half.
Yes.
If there was any other team, a Bournemouth, a Brentford, a Crystal Palace, like Crystal Palace are playing nowadays, they would have scored. It would have been a 2-0, 1-0. And then we all know how we do after 1-0 or 2-0 before halftime. We all go in the trenches.
Collapse. Yeah.
So if it happens against Newcastle for even 15 minutes, we are gone. So I personally feel it's good to win. It's good to win and build up on that. But against Newcastle, I'm still nervous because this team has that, consistency issue. And
don't forget, Newcastle got knocked out from everything as well, so they're going to try their level best to win something.
Exactly. It's Eddie Howe's job online for me. The owners are fed up of him right now. They want a new manager. If he's not winning any silverware now, he has to win it. So I mean, it's a all important game, and personally, I think now our owners also just are thinking about getting to a cup victory and then going to Europe. So I mean, it's all important.
Can I just say one comment? If you remember, when we played Man United, we had to travel all the way up from London all the way to Manchester, right? And I think we played the weekend before, and then we sort of traveled all the way there and played away from home. And you remember that performance that didn't even make any sense. When you think about Man United's standing and how we've been playing, generally we've been playing good, but then not scoring. But that performance, Chelsea was so tired and so low on energy that they completely ran us over, right? But when we play Newcastle, they're going to be traveling all the way. They were playing at home today.
Yes.
So they're going to be traveling all the way to Chelsea.
It's a short turnaround as well. It's a short
turnaround. Players. So if I'm expecting us to run them over, with energy.
Yes.
And but if they turn around and are pressing us and having more energy, then I don't even know what to say.
Well,
So,
let's answer this. We'll go with Shervin and we'll do the final rounds. We'll wrap things up, ladies and gentlemen. Smash the like button. We're going to have this final comment here. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe as well. And if you want to become a member, we'll have more members live calling shows all throughout till the end of the season, and even beyond the season. Until this members structure is in place, we're always going to do that. Shervin, we'll start with you, my man. What Abdulrazak just touched based on, and I think what we've all alluded on, owners are really looking at this Carabao Cup match as a route to Europe, albeit Europe Conference League, but it's something for them, right? And also, it's a silverware for us. We get knocked out against Newcastle, on top of what Abdulrazak just said. They're going to have to travel to us. We looked very weary when we went there. We should have the energy. We should be looking for revenge. We get knocked out here. Oof. I think that's a solid blow on Pochettino, man. I think he'd be in deep trouble with his job after that.
Look, if I'm the owners, I would just lay this down on Pochettino, and I really hope they're doing this. You either get Europe next season, in whatever way you do it. Either you win every game from now on to the end of the season, you somehow get top 6, or you win one of these cups and you get Europe. You either get Europe for the next season or you're gone. That has to be said, because there needs to be some pressure on the team, on the manager. It's been way too easy so far. With all the Christmas parties and going here, going there. Oh, yeah, the lads gave everything. None of that anymore. We need to put some pressure. If you win the Carabao Cup, the Conference League, all right, we'll give you next season. Or at least we'll see how you start up.
It's something.
We'll take it for now. You win the FA Cup and you get Europa League. All right, that's pretty good. Again, we'll give you the start of next season. We'll see how you develop next season. And you better do a lot better next season than you did this season as well. But at least for now, all right, we'll stick with you. But if you don't get any Europe, if you don't get top 7, if you don't get the Carabao Cup and you don't get the FA Cup, then I don't know why we're keeping you here.
Why are you here?
If you just kept Graham Potter or Frank Lampard, they would have delivered the same thing. So thank you very much. But if you can't do any of these, we have to say goodbye. So I really hope they're putting this pressure on him and on the team. And the team really need to perform. They need to come out. They need to play like their life depends on this one game, because it really does.
I love it, Shervin.
This is the cup final for us. All right. I know it's not the cup final for this particular cup, but it is the cup final. If we lose this, it's curtains. Our last chance is the FA Cup, and every team is still in the FA Cup. Whereas here in the Carabao Cup, we only have like maybe 1 or 2 big teams left to deal with.
Yeah.
So we need to win this game. My prediction for the game is that, and I'm going with my heart on this one. This could very easily be wrong. My prediction is we get a squeeze by a 2-1 win, barely, just with sheer might and will, because we do seem to turn up when we want to against like the cities or Arsenals in the world. So we really need to have the same energy. But we could easily not have it, and it could easily be a disaster. I wouldn't be surprised.
Valan, is this do or die, bro? You've always said that the owners will never get rid of this manager, but it's kind of set up in a way that if you don't win this, then what are you doing?
I think by then the fans will turn on him if we don't win. I think it's a sackable offense if we don't beat Newcastle, especially with the amount of injuries they have right now.
Yeah. I agree with you, bro. I actually agree with you. With all the injuries that they have, and what Abdulrazak just said, they're traveling here. Like, it's a big travel. Like, come on, man. We need to be on top. Tiger, is this sackable offense if Pochettino doesn't beat Newcastle and gets knocked out of Carabao Cup, ending the owner's ambition of being in Europe? As Shervin said, we have to start all over again with the FA Cup, and God knows what's going to happen there.
Yes, I mean, for the fans it is. I don't know, for the owners and the media, I guess they would come up with one more excuse that, oh, Carabao Cup is over, now let's look forward to FA Cup. Maybe win it and qualify for an even bigger league like Europa. So it's the complacency and the incompetence from the management is, for me, it's not ending, right, miss? So, and if we don't win both of it, I mean, then there is nothing left to salvage the season. We are not going to be in the top 8. I don't think so. I mean, well, people can predict that, but
It'll
I'm
take
not
a miracle.
seeing.
It'll take a miracle.
Yeah. So And personally, I'm well. People will say now I'm being a nihilist and a negative Chelsea fan, but last year
Don't worry about
or
that, bro.
last to last year, yeah, I don't. Last to last year, I mean, how many of us were comfortable in saying that? Oh, Conference League, yeah, I'll take it. Chelsea playing in Conference League is a good thing. No,
Never has
for me
been, bro.
personally,
Standards
Conference
gone
League
down.
is a waste of time for these world class players. The likes of Enzo, the likes of Caicedo, the likes of Raheem Sterling,
Agreed.
the likes of
Agreed.
Nkunku. Are they here to play Conference League? There are
To
teams
play
which I
devil's
cannot
advocate, though.
pronounce.
To play devil's advocate, it's the
I've
only
never
trophy
heard
we haven't
about.
won. It's the only trophy we haven't
Yeah, but
won.
there's a
So
reason why we have not won
complete the
this
set.
trophy because it's not deservingly.
I
It's
know,
not
man.
worthy. It's not worthy.
It's not
I'm
worthy.
trying to make it best of a bad situation, to be honest. But yeah,
I
this is
see what
completely
you're
right.
doing,
And
Sharon.
if you see Shravan and Miz and all the pan, the amount we win and the TV rights are also not that big. So in Conference League
No.
especially, it's not that
I don't think
big
anyone watches
incentive
Conference League, bro. I
financially.
really don't think anyone
And
watches it.
for me personally, what is the fear, Miss? What's the fear? If we don't do well consistently, like we don't improve player on player and team cohesion wise and familiarity of the formation wise, if you're not improving tactically and as a system, we are gonna be beaten by Frankfurt and Florentina and Dinamo Zagreb in the Conference League.
Oh
That
boy,
would be more humiliating.
Oh man.
that's true.
I think those
Going
teams
into
are
Conference League and
Europa
getting
League.
beaten.
I think Conference League is probably teams you never heard of. You'll be,
Bro, there's
So
teams
I
from
mean,
like Azerbaijan. There's teams from Romania I've never heard of. Gibraltar,
yeah.
like, come on, bro. I didn't even know some of these places even existed.
There is Club Brugge, or however it's pronounced. We are looking at their striker, Antonio Nusa. Can you believe it? They're in Conference League too.
Oh my
So I
days.
mean, my personal fear is we
Tiger's
need to
really given a
holistically
mad
develop.
realistic
Yes,
check
I
today,
mean,
man. Oh my days.
but anyways, if they're happy, I guess that's all. But yeah, I mean, it's sackable offense, as you said. The question you asked: if Poch fails against Newcastle, a Newcastle team laden with injuries, mind you,
Yeah.
and also down with motivation getting out of UCL. So I don't think so. He's salvaging anything else this season. So why he shouldn't be sacked? And again, if we don't sack Poch right now, Miz, and this is for the panel and the chat too. Again, any other manager who comes in, say at the start of Feb or after the winter window, when we have considerably failed in achieving everything we can, and after we have spent say 100 million more in winter window, according to Poch, that manager will again have an excuse that now I'm building something that will take another preseason, so the whole preseason, and then in August next year we'll be seeing a new project coming up, and
Yeah, the
trust the
cycle
process again
continues.
on the media and lines. So
Cycle
it's
continues.
it's
Yeah.
it's yeah, the cycle continues. So if Poch has to be sacked, it has to be in the winter window or before it. I mean, so yeah, it's a big game for him.
Abdurazak, let you have the final say on this upcoming match against Newcastle.
Yeah, no, I think must win game. Obviously, I wouldn't sack Poch if we lost. I'll be honest with you, and even if we struggled against Wolves the game after, I'm not sure I would sack him. I think the owners have created such a a circus that if we were to sack
Continue
Poch,
the circus. Continue.
I think the next guy they bring in, I think 12 months later, we'll probably be in a similar position. I think the players and the squad balance doesn't make any sense. We've had a lot of injuries, not to make excuses, but even some of these injuries, we're signing guys who've got long injury history. Like Madueke, when they were signing him, I saw the history of the injury list, and it didn't make any sense. And I was like, why if you sign a guy that has been out, missed so many games, and I said something similar about Victor Osimhen. I think if we bring him in, I've seen his injury history. I think he'll come in, and we'll be doing what we're doing with Nkunku, which is he's injured again. Our season is ruined. We have to wait for him to come back and save us.
We're not getting him.
He's had long bouts of injuries, similar with
Imagine
Nkunku.
Hiroshima in Conference League. Wow.
Yeah, so I think it's more about the structure of the whatever they're trying to do upstairs. I think that's what's really causing the issues that are happening. So I wouldn't get rid of him, but I think it's a must win. but I would stick with Poch, as difficult as it is, and given long enough, as long as they're patient with him, I think he can at least make us a top 4, top 5 club again. It might take a couple of years, but it's better than the madness that's currently happening, and I think will continue.
I hear what you're saying. And look, as much as I would like to have Jose in the club, the new owners will never bring out Jose. Like, it just doesn't fit their remit. They like people that are just going to listen to their orders. So I hear what you're saying, Abdul Razak. Like, what benefit does it really give us to get rid of him? We're just going to be in this cycle with a yes man, because it's only going to be a yes man. It's not going to be, unless if they change their views, unless they change that, you know what? We don't need a yes man. We need someone who's going to take this club forward. And we're not going to bring the youth. We're going to bring in different caliber of players, more experienced players to win right now. So I completely hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you so much once again. Another banging members call-in show, which has been fantastic. Just a shout out to my brother, Casually FC, who's just become a member. My man, next time we do another members call-in, do make sure you join in, which is going to be fantastic and fun. This community is growing. The members are growing. And I love the fact that you guys are getting your opportunity to give your perspective on the club. It's making me understand the game a lot better. I think it's giving a lot of you guys a different perspective, not just me talking, because I have my way of thinking. You guys all have. And I think this show is honestly going to become one of the biggest shows, hopefully, in the Chelsea community. And I think we're growing this all together, which is fantastic. Big up to each and every one of you guys. I shall see you guys tomorrow, early UK time, around 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., something around there. We'll talk about the latest that's going around at Chelsea Football Club. Big up to each and every one of you guys. Once again, smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, everyone, take care and have a very, very good day wherever you guys are.
Cheers.
Up the Chelsea.
Cheers.